And the difference between people who panic in a storm and people who becomes the storm's anchor. Say, you hear so much about the calm before the storm, but what about the calm in the storm? The real power is to be calm. It's the ability to stand steady while everything else around you is shaken or seemingly feels like it's falling apart. You build this internal stability before the external instability arises. And that goal, it would be silly to say, I'm just going to avoid the storms, because the storms are coming whether you like it or not. Chaos, it just tests everyone. But patience, it reveals who's truly built to win the day, win the month, win the life. All right, let's go. If you're tired, not feeling fit, tired, just not having focus, tired, just not having the life that you deserve. This is supposed to be, I'm Jason Yarusi. Today, you hear so much about the calm before the storm, but what about the calm in the storm? I mean, the difference between people who panic in a storm and people who becomes the storm's anchor. You know, most people think strength is loud. They think leadership is fast reactions, emotional outbursts, force and control, right? Being the one yelling and screaming to take charge. But the real strength, the real power is to be calm. It's the ability to stand steady while everything else around you is shaken or seemingly feels like it's falling apart. The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it. Skillful pilots gain the repetition from storms and tempests. That's Epictetus quote from centuries ago. And everybody can look calm when life's just working perfectly, right? When things are on easy mode, but you don't discover who you truly are during those periods of comfort. You don't discover who you are until really the pressure builds, manifests, and just hits you hard. The deals, they fall apart. Money, it's just really tight. People who you thought would come through disappoint you, or your family unexpectedly needs you. Business, it can feel heavy, and the future can become really uncertain. And in those moments, that's where your character gets exposed. That's where the chaos, it shows who you truly are and what your character is. It reveals it. The people who win long-term are rarely the loudest people in the room. They're the calmest, right? They're the ones who don't look at the storm as the enemy. They look at the storm as the test. Anybody can lead when the occupancy is high, when, you can stay positive when the market's booming, right? When crypto's up, stock's up, when you have all the dollars in your bank account. But can you be disciplined when your motivation is failing? Or the results, they slow down, or when your emotions are screaming, stop, go, different way, stop what you're doing. Can you stay steady while everybody else is overreacting? And that's where things will separate you from the pack. Marcus Aurelius wrote that what stands in the way becomes the way. Most of our life is based on avoiding obstacles, right? Avoiding the difficulty, avoiding the things that are going to push back against us. But when we look at the obstacle as the way to the other side of where you need to be, you start looking at it differently because it becomes the training, it becomes the forge, the pressure, the proving ground. And think about the captain in the ocean. When a storm hits, right, the crew doesn't panic from the leader. They need to have someone who's just going to stand tall and be present and give them exact orders. Imagine the captain screaming, emotionally being frantic and just going wild, right? You think about how the crew reacted. Crew would just not be in a position where they could ever trust that captain because everybody sinks emotionally before the ship actually sinks physically. Think about that. Your emotions can hit rock bottom. And the way you can look at that is that you can overreact both mentally and physically, or you can give yourself the option to stay calm and allow that to change everything. Not because the storm is going to disappear and magically goes. It's just, that's leadership. Your family, it feels your energy. Your business, it feels your energy. Your team, it feels your energy. It's so true, right? If you bring this negativity into your life, everybody else feels it. You know the people in your life that you can sense this negative, almost like aura that surrounds them. So if you carry the chaos internally, you spread it absolutely externally. But if you develop the calm that's under pressure and you look at it to a way that people can be trusting with you, with directions, with understanding that you're here to direct the potential of a positive outcome, regardless of where you stood today. So as you go through the next day, the next week, the next month, no matter where you are right now, no matter where the pressure is, just understand that you need to slow down before you start reacting, because the damage that happened, it's from emotional decisions, it's from reacting harshly. And that calm pause, it's going to save you years of regret. I can think back to many times where I acted rashly and it caused me a lot more to fix than if I had just taken the time to think rationally about the moment. Respond. Don't react. Focus on what you can control. I mean, Stoicism teaches us to be clear that you can't control the storm. You can control your posture to it, your effort, your attitude, your discipline, your consistency. That's your lane to stay within. And that patience, it's not weakness. Many times when you look at the person who's out there screaming, who's going wild, right, that looks so tough, they're actually the weakest because their mind is not prepared to think of things in a logical way. Weak people, they explode emotionally, and strong people remain composed just enough to make the right move. Train the calm before the chaos arrives. Understand that you don't build composure during the pressure. You reveal the composure before you've practiced beforehand, right? That's why the routine matters. Getting up and working out daily, getting up and saying a prayer, understanding the silence in your movement. It creates the discipline in your journey. You build this internal stability before the external instability arises. And that goal, it would be silly to say, I'm just going to avoid the storms, because the storms are coming whether you like it or not. You don't know when, you don't know where, boom, storm. To ask yourself, can I become the man who is ready to stand within the storm without losing himself? That's the journey to go upon, because eventually the storm passes. And when it does, the people who stayed patient, stayed disciplined, who stayed calm, they emerge stronger than ever before. Anyone who panics, well, it honestly may have worked for the moment, but very few can lead calmly through uncertainty. Be the anchor, be that steady hand, be the person who is the calm today and when that storm hits. Because chaos, it just tests everyone. But patience, it reveals who's truly built to win the day, win the month, win the life. All right, that's what I have for you today. I'm Jason Yarusi. This is the Limited Podcast. Let's do this.